Welcome to Try Core Warm-Up Sequence 1. We're going to be starting 30 seconds each exercise, twice through. Please follow along with me to work on these exercises. I'll go through some explanation as we do our movements before our warm-up so we can get going and start right away. Three, two, one, and go. Trans lunge. You're going to open up into an L-shaped position, transferring your weight into your back leg, sink into that hip, push back to the center point, alternate to the other side. So as I'm doing this, I'm thinking about as if I'm standing on the 12 position of a clock and stepping out to 3, back to the center, and out and back. So I look like I'm in L shape or a quarter of a pie. I'm alternating sides for 30 seconds. 3, 2, 1, and switch. I'm moving to animal squats. I'm going to start down in a plank position on my hands and knees. From here going up to my toes. I'm going to be shoulder width apart with my feet, driving my hips back towards my heels and coming forward into that position. So back and forward. That is one animal squat every time my hips go back. Make sure my shoulders are coming down and back. In 3, 2, 1, and switch. I go back up to the top into my body squats. So I'm going to start out with my tri-ready stance, so feet hip width apart. Drive those knees out to the side as I sink into my hips. So looking from here, if I need assistance, I'm going to reach forward with my hands so I can get a nice parallel motion. So feet are hip width apart, knees are traveling over the ankles. Pushing those knees out to the sides. Sink into those hips. 3, 2, 1, and switch. Scorpion bridges. We're coming down to the floor for this position. I'm going to lie back, lift my hips, and as I lift my hips, I reach over to my opposite shoulder, turning through the torso, roll back down. Hinge up, reach over and across, and back down, alternating sides. Lift my hips, squeezing my bum, reaching up and over, rolling over my bottom shoulder. Three, 2, 1, and switch. I'm going to move to knee ups. So we're sitting on my side. Legs are in 2 Z positions, so 2 zigzag positions. My left hand's on the floor. My knees are traveling to my left. I'm going to push up off my left leg, reach up to the ceiling, back down, rotate across, hand goes behind, lift up. Alternating sides. So I'm going to show you from another angle, reaching up, sit back down, roll over to the other side, lift up off the hand, lift off the front knee, back down. Alternating sides. This is our knee ups. 3, 2, 1, and switch. We're going to be moving to beetles. Beetles, I'm going to start back on my hands and knees, tuck my toes underneath, hover my knees. This is my start position. I'm going to rotate to the right, planting my right foot on the ground, extending my left leg parallel to the floor with my right hand by my shoulder. Come back to my start position and turn to the left. Plant my left foot, kick my left foot through, and back to the center. As I go right to left, I always turn down towards the floor with my belly button, alternating back and forth. Plant the foot, kick, back to center, alternate to the other side. 3, 2, 1, and switch. Back up to the top, starting with my trans lunge. 3, 2, 1, and go. Alternating back and forth. So remember with this one, the front leg stays straight, the back leg is transferring all my weight to it as I sink into that hip, alternating sides. So the second time is always a little faster with our warm-up, especially because the first time we're really just learning our motion. 3, 2, 1, and switch. We're going down to the floor for our animal squat. Up on the toes, squat back, and come forth to that plank position. Make sure your hips try and stay the same level the whole time versus keeping your legs straight. You want to make sure you're bending at the knees so we're increasing our hip mobility. We got 10 more seconds here. Going back and forth in between the positions. From a side angle, Three, 2, 1, and switch. Move to body squats, coming up nice and tall, feet hip width apart, sink into those heels. Push those knees out over those ankles, chest stays nice and tall. Remember, you can reach out in front. Pushing those knees out to the side. 3, 2, 1, and switch. We're moving back down to the floor for our scorpion bridges. So you're going to turn onto your back side, lying back on the ground. Feet are hip width apart, bridge up, reaching over the opposite shoulder. Alternate sides. Each time I lower out of my bridge and I re-bridge by squeezing my hips and my bum. So squeezing my bum, everything is nice and long. I reach and rotate over the bottom shoulder. Three, 2, 1, and switch. We're going to knee ups. So I'm going to have my legs bent. Front leg is on the front thigh. Lift up onto my left leg, reaching over with my right. Alternate to the other side. Pushing up. So side to side. Just roll across. Lift up with the hips. So I'm trying to push my bottom hip forward and up as I do this exercise. So I'm getting the opening through the hip on the bottom leg. And I'm pushing up through that front leg here. 3, 2, 1, and switch. I'm going to go ahead and move to beetle. So I'm going to turn over onto my hands and knees. Wrists are under the shoulders, toes are tucked. Hover my knees. This is my start position. I turn to my right, planting my right foot. Kick my left leg out in front. Back to center. Alternate to the other side. Show you from the front view. Hands are planted. Left foot. Kick through with the right. Come back to the center. Plant the right foot. Kick through with the left. Keep the shoulder down and back so it's not traveling towards the ear. So in 3, 2, 1, and stop. That concludes our warm-up for today.
Our training objective today is to be focusing on targeted movement through our shoulders, belly, back, and bum. Our formula for today is we have 3 stations. Each station performs the same formula. We start with the first exercise in station 1 and complete 60 seconds, then each exercise after that for 60. Then we go back to the top, completing 30 each exercise in that station. Once we complete 60 and 30, we repeat that formula one more time at that station before moving on to station 2. We repeat that same formula for station 3 as well. Take a 30-second rest in between the stations.
Kettlebell rows. Benefits of this exercise is posterior chain, shoulder strength, as well as through the hips. The exercise looks like this. From the front, position. Hinge at the hips. Kettlebell is just on the inside of the leg. Movement. Pull the kettlebell to the side of the rib cage, bringing the wrist to the ribs. Elbow snug to the side of the body. Shoulder down and back. Release to the floor. Pull, release is 1 repetition. You complete all repetitions on one side, then you go to the other side and complete all repetitions. It can also be for time, so you would do half on one side, half on the other side. Common faults with this one: fatiguing through the upper back. As I hinge, I get rounded through the upper torso, and then my shoulders not gliding through that exercise. So, second common fault is going to be from here, rounding through the low back or moving up and down as you pull. Third one is going to be elbow winging to the outside. Common cues: long spine, lift the chest, shoulders down and back, hand to the rib. Progression, regression is your load, how much weight you're using, speed of the movement, and range of motion. Range of motion would include coming up a little higher to regress it, progress it, become more parallel to the floor with your spine. Single squats. Benefits of this exercise is unilateral strength through the hip and bum. This exercise also focuses on hip mobility and stability through the ankle. The exercise looks like this. Other side. Start position. Kettlebell is on the left side, so the weight is on the left. Right leg is forward. That means my left side is squatting. Movement. Bend at the hip and the knee of the left leg. Push up through the heel, bring yourself tall, pushing the hip forward. Sit into the hip, push up. Common faults: as I do this one, putting my weight forward into my front leg or hinging at the hip so that I'm not bending that leg that I'm putting the pressure through, and I'm just pushing my hip behind me. Or losing stability and control through this movement pattern. So as I do this, progression regression is going to be my load, how much weight I'm using. I can reduce it or regress it by taking the weight off and focusing on that pressure through that leg. Stability, I can keep my toes off the floor to progress it to give more stability challenge, or regress it by placing my toes on the floor and putting my weight back into that hip. Then it's range of motion and speed of movement from there. Range of motion is how deep I would sit into the position and to be able to come tall each time. Common cues: sit back into the hip. So as I put my weight into my left leg, I'm sitting back into the hip and accelerating or pushing up through the heel, extending through that front of the hip. Another common cue is long spine, as we have a tendency to come forward and round through here, or hinge at the hip, so we want a long spine, sitting down and put your weight into the back leg to push back up. Shoulders down and back. Plank wipers. Benefits of this exercise is total body integration, high metabolic demand, focusing on core strength, shoulder stability and mobility, hip stability and hip mobility. The exercise looks like this. From the side. Start position. Straight arm plank position. Movement. From your straight arm plank position, hover your left leg off the floor, keeping it long from the ankle to the hip, moving it out to the side of your body, tapping the floor, bring it back to the starting position. Repeat on the other side. Repetition count. Right side, left side is 1 repetition. It can also be done for time. Common faults: hiking the hips, rounding through the spine, shoulders elevating to the ears. Common cues: long spine, lift the chest, lower the hips. Progression regression is going to be your load, so how far you reach out to the side or how long you can sustain that plank position as you do your movement pattern. Regressive, simply lower down on your load. In between each repetitions,
starting with station 1,
or staying on the knee as you complete this movement pattern.
get ready for station 1.
3, 2, 1, and go. Kettlebell row, left side. Remember to hinge at your hips, long spine, hips don't move with you. Just keep it nice and steady pace. This is for our 60 seconds. You can always use a dumbbell at home, or if you don't have a dumbbell available, find something like a backpack or a purse, and you can load it with some books. So again, we're not twisting through the shoulders as we do this. Everything stays parallel to the floor. If you're getting fatigued, you can stand up, reset, and then get that position back in control. We have about 10 more seconds to go. So nice and controlled, no extra rotation, so nothing's moving from side to side. 3, 2, 1, and switch sides. So again, hinging at the hips, long spine. Okay, keep good control. If you're getting fatigued, stand up, reset your position, shoulders down and back, rehinge. 60 seconds is a long time on one side. Just keep that long spine, draw your abs in. If you're feeling your low back, that means we're getting fatigued here, come up a little bit or adjust your load. We have 10 more seconds. Three, 2, 1, and switch. Beatles. We have 60 seconds of Beatles. Wrists under the shoulders, knees underneath the hips, hover onto the toes, plant the left foot, kick the right leg through, bring that left hand to the left shoulder. Back to the center, go to the other side. Alternate at your own pace. Exhale as you kick through. Remember, if you need to change your load, you can place that foot on the floor if need, or rest for a second in the center, then reset your position, come back up, repeating, alternating on the other side. Three, 2, 1, and switch. Back to kettlebell rows, left side. This is only 30 seconds long. Remember, long spine, don't let those shoulders twist or the knees to rock in. Everything stays in that tribe ready stance. Ribs stay connected with those hips. 10 more seconds, then we start back at the beginning. Kettlebell row left for 1 minute. 3, 2, 1, switch. Get right up into it, position yourself, hinge and pull. From the side, long spine, abs in, elbow pulls close to the side of the body. The free hand can go on the hip, or if you need a little extra support, add it to the top of the thigh. If you get tired, remember, come back up, reset, position yourself. So remember, common fault is that rounding the spine, so we want to make sure you're tall and long. We have about 20 more seconds to go. 8 seconds, long spine, shoulder pulls down and back. 3, 2, 1, and switch side. Hinging at the hips, pull. Remember, as I pull, I don't want to be moving my whole body. Keep everything stationary. You got this, just stay in control. Do what you can do if you need to reduce the load and just work with that range of motion for now. Go right ahead or switch your weight up to lighter if you're getting too fatigued. Remember, the important key here is a long spine, hinge at the hips. We've got about 30 seconds left, and control through our movement. If we're losing control or stability, then we need to adjust one of those factors. Maybe I need to come up a little bit higher as long as my shoulder's traveling from my ear. We have about 10 more seconds, then we're going to beetles. 3, 2, 1, switch, beetles. Wrists under the shoulders, up on the toes. Plant that left foot, kick out, back to the center, repeat on the other side. If your knees are too close to you, you're going to be crowded and it'll be hard to turn. So make sure those knees start underneath the hips. Seconds to go. After this, we go back to the row on the left side for 30 seconds. You can move faster or slower than me, or keep my pace. Three, two, one, switch. Back to kettlebell row left. Only 30 seconds, so get in that position quickly and start pulling. Ten more seconds on this side. 3, 2, 1, and switch sides. Remember, you can always adjust that reset. So hinging at the hip, elbow stays close to the body so it's not winging out. Stand up tall, feet hip width apart, get that tri-brace stance, hinge and pull. 5 more seconds, then we go to beetles. 3, 2, 1, and switch. Beetles. Remember our long spine, plant the foot, rotate and kick. Three, 2, 1, and stop. Move to the next station.
Remember, if you don't have a kettlebell, you can always use a dumbbell or substitute with a tote with some objects in the bottom of it to weigh it down. 10 more seconds of a rest before we start.
3, 2, 1, and go. Body squats. Seconds left. Remember to push those knees out over those ankles, sitting those hips down between those knees or as much as you can. Remember, you can use a chair for support if needed. Sit back into those hips, 10 more seconds. Then we're going to go to single leg squat. We're going to be flipping at the halfway mark. 3, 2, 1, and switch. Grab your kettlebell. Right leg back, left leg forward, sink in to that right leg. You can add less pressure, making it more tense on that right side by lifting the toes. Three, two, one, switch sides. Into that hip. Pushing off that left leg to get you tall. Three, two, one, and switch. Plank wiper. Remember, you can go wrist or elbows if you need to, alternate side to side. Swinging that leg across the side of the body. Your goal is to keep that full plank position. So you shouldn't be up here with your hips. Get nice and parallel, controlling through that core. Take your time. Remember, if you need to reset, come down to your knees and pop back up into that position when you're ready. You can also do it with one knee down. So remember, if you need to get that modification, go right ahead if you're losing control. 5 more seconds. We're going to go back to body squats for 30 seconds. 3, 2, 1, and switch. Body squats. Pushing those knees out. Remember, you can reach nice and long. Driving those hips behind you. 3, 2, 1, and switch. Single leg squat. Kettlebell on the same side. You can use a dumbbell or no weight. Just work on body weight. Sit into that back leg. Push up. 3, 2, 1, switch sides from the front, bending that back leg. All your weight is here. This is for extra balance and stability. 3, 2, 1, switch back to wipers. Remember, it's only 30 seconds. Keep that plank position, soft elbows, long spine. Try not to move the hips up and down. No sagging through that core. 8 seconds. 3, 2, 1, and switch. Back to body squats are 1 minute. And time pushing through that right leg. You got half the time one side, half the time the other. 3, 2, 1, and switch. Sinking into that back hip and leg. Push through that heel to get you back up. About 5 seconds to go. Pushing through that leg. 3, 2, 1, and switch. Plank wipers. Remember, keep that long spine. Hips as level as the shoulders. Shoulders over those wrists. So it's easy to get too far back, and then I start piking my hips. So walk it back in, or reset if you need to, and get back into that posture. About 30 seconds to go. Ten more seconds. Three, 2, 1, and switch. Back to body squats. 30 seconds. Try to make those transitions as fast as you can so you can get the most work. Reaching straight forward. About 10 seconds left. Three, 2, 1, and switch. Single squat. Back leg has the weight. Bend and push. Your back should stay flat, hinging at that hip joint. Switch sides. You can always allow this front leg to bend with you, just as long as your pressure is on the back. 3, 2, 1, and switch. Plank wipers. Remember, this is only 30 seconds, and this is the last time through this station. So we have about 10 more to go. Challenge yourself if you can. Remember, that's why we're here today, to improve our body, work to our goals. Just find what you can do. 3, 2, 1, and stop.
Our final station, 10 seconds to start.
Three, 2, 1, and go. Trans lunge. So stepping back into that lunge pattern, alternating sides. I always think of it like going to a quarter of a pie. So you're going off to that degree angle. We got my quarter of the pie here. Accelerate back to center. Alternate to the other side. As I go back, putting my weight into that back leg, allowing my front leg to stretch. Another way to think about it is I'm going around the corner, coming back up. We have about 30 seconds left. If you're having trouble figuring out where you're going, leave your hand in front, open up. So again, it'll look like this from the side. one, switch. Animal squats. This is that one we did in our warm-up. Feet hip width apart, shoulder width apart. Hinge at the hips, accelerate forward. Try to keep your hips in that parallel position so they're not up high and then coming down. They're gliding forward and back as if you have a drink on a table and you don't want it to spill. So from the front, shoulder width apart. These are about hip width, shoulder width apart. Glide back, forward. So you're working through this motion. We have about 15 seconds to go. Three, two, one, and switch. Scorpion bridges. Lying on your back. Bridge up, reach up and over, back down, up, over. Remember, we're rolling down through the spine, each vertebrae at a time. Bring it up, squeezing that bum tight, reach over the bottom shoulder. Twenty seconds left. Three, two, one, and switch. Back to the top for a transverse lunge. Remember, it's like going around the corner. This is only 30 seconds per exercise here, so we want to make it count. As you step, make sure you go out to the side as well. So you're not just going back, but you're going out. Otherwise, if you step too close or behind, you'll see my heel is behind my front leg. I'm too close in that position. 3, 2, 1, and switch. Animal squats. So again, nice wide, bending at the knees. So this is that huge hip mobility. Nice fluid motion, really working those thighs. 3, 2, 1, and switch. Scorpion bridges. Swing to that edge. Feet are hip width apart. Squeeze up through the bum, reaching over that shoulder. Three, two, one, and switch. Transverse lunge for our 1 minute. This is our second time through. About 15 more seconds. Remember, you're sitting back into that. You should feel that front leg stretching on that inner thigh, making sure you're working that back glute. This is hitting that core, making sure your torso goes with the side leg. So you're facing the side as you do this. 3, 2, 1, and switch. Back to animal squats. You're doing a great job. Just take it at your pace. If you need to rest for a second, you can do a few on your knees if you need to modify that just a little bit. If the pressure's getting too much. Otherwise, go back up to the toes. We have about 25 seconds to go. So just keep working through this motion. Core stays tight. Just do what you can. This is trial week. We're just introducing you to what we do in core. We're going to feel all the shoulders, belly, back, and bum muscles working at this point. 3, 2, 1, and switch. Scorpion bridge. Squeezing up through that bum, reaching over that opposite shoulder, and back down. Don't give up, just take your time. Do what you can. Remember, the race is only for you. So think about connecting with those muscles. We have about 15 seconds left. Three, 2, 1, and switch. Back up to the top. Last time through 30 seconds each exercise. Remember, stepping out to that side, transfer your weight to that back leg. Let your torso face the direction you're heading. 3, 2, 1, and switch. Animal squats. Just take your time, move through the motion. Remember, you can always go down to your knees. If you need to, just make sure those hips are coming forward into that plank. You're almost there. 3, 2, 1, and switch. Scorpion bridge. Three, 2, 1, and stop. Mobility sequence 1. 3, 2, 1, and go. 6 sprinklers. Arms reaching nice and long, folding them to the side, swinging side to side. We'll have 6 per side. Getting that nice torso swing. Allow the hips to get more motion if you can. Remember, just do as much as you can do. This is my 5th one. Now I'm going to go down to knee-ups like we did in our warm-up. So legs are bent, pushing up on the hips, reaching over the head. Alternate to the other side. So again, from a different angle. I have 3 per side to complete. Pushing up through those hips. Last one per side. Now I move to propeller. I'm going to show you from a couple different angles, but my wrists are going to be in line with my shoulders. My left leg is going to stay down in a bent position. My right leg is going to be long and flat to the floor. The side that's long is the arm that's going to rotate up to the ceiling. I'm going to go 6 per side. I'm going to allow my head to follow along with my hand to open up my upper back and stretch out my hips a little bit. So when I do this, I want my hip to not twist up to the ceiling, but keep parallel to the floor. So nothing else twists except my shoulders and chest. Switching sides, right leg is bent, left leg is now long and extended. Rotate up to the ceiling. So do all 6 one side, all 6 the other side. Get a nice twist. I'm going to shoot from the side. From here, I move to scorpion bridge. So I'm lying on my back. This is that one we had in our warm-up. Bridge up, reaching over. Now this one, we have 6 per side to do because right side, left side is 1 rep. Bridging up, reaching over. So again, squeezing my bum, reach over the bottom shoulder. Make sure they're not hiking up by the ears, so keep them down and long. It's almost like you're pressing out through that bottom hand as you do this exercise. You're just kind of gently rolling up over that shoulder, looking towards the corner with your head. So you let your head follow along. From here, we move to 3 sunsets. So I'm going to start down in that beetle position where my hands and knees are on the ground. From here, I'm going to rotate all the way to my side and reach up and over. Then come back to my start position and repeat on the other side. So I'm going to rotate, reach up and over. I have 3 per side. So I'm going to show it from the side. From here, I'm going to rotate, reach up and over, pressing my rib cage to the ceiling, then back to the center, rotate to the side, pressing my hips and rib cage up, back to that center point, rotate, reach, that leaves me a little time left. I'm going to start that cycle again. So going through my sprinklers, 6 per side. Allow your hips to go with it. Move to my knee ups. So down on the ground, rotate, reach. I got 3 per side. 2, 2, 3, 3. Move to propellers. So on my hands and knees, one leg is out. That side rotates up to the ceiling. I got 6 per side. Other side. Remember the foot is flat, hips stay stationary. Just twist that torso. How far you go is just up to you. Then from here, I flip over to scorpion bridges. 6 per side. Rolling up onto that bottom shoulder. Now, if you do have trouble with the rolling part, you can always just bridge up and reach overhead. If you're having trouble or uncomfortable lifting over that shoulder. So just straight up and down. You just have 6 per side complete. And then switch to sunsets. So on those hands and knees, rotate completely to the side, reach up, back to the center. So from another angle, rotate to the side, reaching up. So we got, for here we have 3 per side to do. Rotate, reach. 1, and stop. That concludes our mobility sequence for today.